Unfortunately, we've not decided a name on what
I
this
know.
series will be called. Unfortunately, we've not decided a name on what
I
this
know.
series will be called. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of KLF Clinical Research. And we're actually talking about the deep dive system, and we're actually introducing a whole new set of videos. Set
Yep.
of videos that I know that I'm really excited to hear about. At KLF, we do a lot of work with academic research centers, but let's be honest, the guru, or is it Guru S, of AMCs is with us, Edye Edens. I'm really excited because she's going to tell us a little bit more about what this series is about and why she said she wanted to have this conversation. So, Edye, to you, why are you really excited about this topic, and
Yep.
where do you think it's going to go?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, it's shameless ploy. We all know I spent 10 years inside a major academic medical center. It's where I cut my teeth in this industry. And it's an experience that really shaped me, right? And so much has changed in that space. You and I and KLF have become very well respected in sponsor land and CRO world, in commercial independent sites. But a lot of folks don't realize all the work that we're doing or handling or helping to manage in the academic world. And to be fair, the operations are different, the processes are different, the setup's different, who funds the research is often different. And so there really is a good argument here for, while we're in the same ecosystem, if you're setting up regulatory or quality, if you're handling a contract, if you're negotiating a budget, when you're doing it at an academic research center, you may be doing it very differently than you would if you're not. And so as we were working through the last deep dive series, which was great, we answered so many good questions. We got so much great feedback from sites, from sponsors, from CROs. There's a thought that because they're such large organizations, they must know how to do it. But the reality is they're out there experiencing these new settings just like we are. And frankly, it can be even harder at a larger academic medical center where you do have more processes, more layers of compliance, more rules and regulations beyond just what the FDA is telling you you can and can't do. And that creates its own, I don't want to say bureaucracy because it has a negative tone. Rather, it just creates its own unique flow of how things are done in academia, the different speed, the different timeline, what's going to qualify as quality, how you're going to address the needs. And what kind of resources you're going to have to do it with as well. And that's a very interesting environment, especially given the last year.
I think that's 100% true. I'd add to that the portion you're talking about right here, which is in the end, everyone's coming at this from the perspective of, oh, sites are sites, it's site sponsor CROs, and isn't that great? And I've personally been in multiple conferences now over the last year where sites are going, we're different. A
Yep.
one person small site has a completely different set of needs
Yep.
from a multi site organization,
Yep.
which has a completely different set of needs from AMCs. The question is, what are those needs? Why are they different? I mean, when you talk to
Yep.
these AMCs and they come to a site conference, they go, my needs aren't being addressed. They don't even know or talk about the committees I'm attending
Right.
because that's what's deciding where the research money is going to go, what funds we're going to allocate, and more.
Enjoying our content? We'd love to hear more. Please like, comment, share, and find more.
What I have consistently seen is, and it's just being reinforced, unfortunately, by what you just said, is academic sites stick to a very certain set of conferences where they know all the other academics go. And you're unfortunately not going to see them go to as many of your site facing or sponsor facing meetings, conferences, et cetera, because that's not their people. It's not their tribe. And they know it. They know that, you're not going to command an academic audience at, say, DIA the same way that you might at maybe the SOCRA National Conference, right? Like those are so, like you said, they're often in a setting where they're going, no one works with me, no one knows specifically me. I am a unique animal. And you don't know how, you don't have a zookeeper for me. And I don't think that's actually true, but I understand why academic sites would feel that way. Because I remember even, again, a million years ago when I was in house there, I would go to some conferences, even some of the ones I go to now that I love, like think of like a Magi. And I was like, you guys are all talking sponsor talk that we don't talk at the academic medical center. This is not relevant to anything I touch. I don't know how to even relate to this person beyond like, hi, my name is Edie. And so that's the other part of it too. I think you miss out on a lot of learning. You do have these huge academic health centers that are processing research volume at numbers that some of your smaller independent, startup biotech, early pharmaceuticals just are never going to reach that volume given what they're working on. So if anyone can break it and tell you exactly why it broke, guess what? A huge academic medical center sure can, because they pressure tested. And so you're missing that flow of helpful information where you could give that to a commercial site and go like, look, this is what the really high volume folks do to be able to scale.
Find related podcasts below.
When I work with AMCs, the one very surprising thing I always have to remind myself of, sponsors are looking at there'll be an eventual payout. CROs are going, look, I need to make sure the revenue is in place, so I'm looking at bottom line. Independent sites are going, I need this to be a profitable venture, and otherwise I can't run this. So how do I get paid? And I need to look at timelines. So the considerations are all there. Interestingly enough, AMCs are not always approaching it from that standpoint.
No.
You have studies that are loss leaders, but you're taking those loss leaders because you're required to, as part of the type of sort of research you're doing. You're required to because the PIs are saying, I'm going to come work with you as part of the physician group, as long as I can be involved in research. And those conversations are simply not conversations you have in any of these other phenomenon.
You see it in the funding because if you have funding that's coming from government, so like a perfect example of what you just said, NCI designated cancer centers, they absolutely are mandated as a part of their NCI designation because of the government relationship and the funding relationship there to run investigator initiated trials, which means there is no sponsor, there is no CRO. You at said cancer center are the sponsor. You are the CRO. You are responsible for the A to Z of the startup. You're responsible for writing possibly your own protocol, then executing it, then managing it, then overseeing all of it, right? So this is a massive step. Now, to be fair, an NCI designated cancer center has the framework and infrastructure because of the volume that they're doing for industry. So it's not the lift of like, we have to build this all for the first time. They have it, but they're very used to industry coming in and spearheading the startup, spearheading initiation, spearheading all of the monitoring. So it is different, and it's a huge, huge resource constraint. But if you do not do that, NCI they'll pull your designation. And they do it because one, they want to continue to challenge physicians to be creative, to use that real world evidence and pull it into our ecosystem, which is critical. It creates better outcomes for patients. And two, they do it for the actual patients because they know there are going to be these situations where no major pharmaceutical company in their right financial mind will put money behind something because it's just only going to impact 0.001% patients ever. And that's not a winning financial venture for a for-profit company, but that doesn't mean that patient's not going to show up at your cancer center needing care.
So the other thing I would say is that I'm really, really excited about this. Unfortunately, we have not decided a name on what the series will be called. So if you guys, people listening, have any ideas on what we should call this series, we had the other one that was different roles, shared goals.
We should put out some polls too. Like, well, once we get a few suggestions, then we can narrow it down to like 3 or 4 and like post like what people are thinking.
This is a series that I'm really excited to see Edye do because I have a bunch of questions and I want to see what Edye comes out with. So I'm really excited. Where can they reach us, Edye?
As always, kulkarnilawfirm.com. We can always find both of us on LinkedIn. And then, of course, our emails, which are our first names, Edye, Darshan, at kulkarnilawfirm.com.
Thank you again for coming on. And we can't wait to hear from you guys. And this is exciting. Call, click, or email. Call, click, or email. Call, click, or email. Call, click, or email. Call, click,